Rest in pieces, motherfucker. Evil Ed was released in 1995 and is a Swedish production and was recently put out by Arrow Video a couple years ago now, probably a few years ago. I don't exactly, I think it was 2017 or something like that. But you know Arrow and their titles, so they're always putting out really good quality stuff. I like this artwork better. I think this is the original artwork, but this is the newly revamped artwork that Arrow put out. I really like this one. I like the the really splatter looking sadistic Evil Ed look to the way he looks in that picture. So that's the one I use. But like I said, it's a Swedish production. So this film is dubbed, and it's funny because I keep mentioning on the channel that I hate dubs. However, they are speaking in English, and you can tell because the when they speak, it matches the the way the vocals are, or the mouth is moving on the people. But you can definitely tell it's dubbed because the dubbing is ridiculous. Like it's cheesy, and you can tell that people are doing voiceover on top of either themselves, or they just got English speaking actors to sound more like more, I guess, professional or more understandable, I guess. But you can definitely tell that the actors and actresses who were performing were speaking in English. They weren't speaking in Swedish. Which again, it's fine. I always like my films in their native language, subtitled. But for this one, like I would say that this is a really big exception in the fact that it's dubbed over, just because at least the actors and actresses are speaking in English. So it's not all, hey, how are you? I don't do that. I don't do that. But basically, this film is about this guy named Ed. He works at a film editing company. And his position at the company wasn't necessarily editing film, but he had this position that he starts off at the beginning of the film with, and then his boss, who is named Sam Campbell. So really sliming looking motherfucker. Like everybody in this film, they make look so creepy and slimy on purpose because it's kind of like the running joke. It is a horror comedy, and it's definitely a throwback to like splatter films of the 80s, such as Evil Dead, and just like the glory days of horror cinema, especially American horror cinema. It's directed by two guys, and they basically just made a love letter to American, horror cinema of the 80s. So this guy works at this film company, and he's asked to edit the violent scenes out of films. He's one of those like censor guys, so because they want to, get an R rating, they don't want to get an X rating, so they have to cut out all the really gory, violent shit. So he's given the position to do that, and then as he takes on his job, he basically starts to lose his mind because all he's seeing all day long is like murder and gore and splatter and torture. They have this like the films that they're editing as a joke. I think they call them, I wrote it down, loose limbs. So he's about to edit Loose Limbs 7 because Loose Limbs 5 just came out and was just released into theaters, and now they skip Loose Limbs 6 apparently. He just goes straight to Loose Limbs 7. Loose Limbs, I love it. I love the humor in this film. The humor in this film, if you can appreciate the kind of humor it is, man, it's such a treat. But yeah, basically he starts to lose his mind, and he starts to have visions and hallucinations, and he sees demons, and he imagines that his boss is like this big ass demon with these big ass horns. Like he just looks like the devil basically, and everything is practical. So if you like your practical effects as much as I do, it's a treat because I would say there's no CGI in this film. Maybe there is, but I would say there's none. I would say everything is practical. It really is. It's not it's not a parody of Evil Dead, which, the title would make you think like this is a full parody of Evil Dead. It's not necessarily, because it doesn't follow the same story that Evil Dead does. So they're not really parodying the movie, but they're definitely paying tribute to a lot of the stylistic effects that Sam Raimi put into the Evil Dead 1 and 2 and 3, Army of Darkness as well. But with the demons and the way they look, with the teeth and like the eyes and the crazy, like, demented looking faces, and all practical. They do that so much in here. And if you like your throwbacks to that kind of stuff, it's really good. There's a scene where Evil, or Ed, we'll just call him Ed, the Evil Ed, whatever. But Ed is talking to his I think it's his ex-wife, because they don't really mention. Apparently, they're divorced, because there's a scene where his wife is, or ex-wife, I guess, is throwing a birthday party for her daughter, but they live in separate homes, so I assume they're divorced. They don't live together, so that's my assumption. And he doesn't make it, and whatever. But he's on the phone with this woman. Her name is Barbara. Night of the Living Dead throwback, and they do use it in here too. They're coming to get you, Barbara, or I'm coming to get you, Barbara. He throws that line out. So they throw back to so many films. I'm getting off track. Like, I'm going back and forth between the themes. Freak, where was I? Yeah, he's on the phone with his ex-wife, I assume, Barbara, and he's like, yeah, I'm just making a movie, and there's a scene where a woman is raped by a beaver and then shot in the head with a bazooka. You know, splatter films. just the line, and he says it so casually that it's hilarious. He's just like, yeah, I'm just editing a film that, this woman is raped by a beaver, mm, beaver, yeah, anyway. And then shot in the head with a bazooka, which, like, I don't even know how that would work. Just, the whole thing would probably come off. Oh my gosh. There's posters galore in this film of horror movies. There's Prince of Darkness, there's Cherry 2000, which I haven't seen Cherry 2000, it is on my list to watch though. There's a Dracula poster, there is a Evil Dead 2 poster, of course, because they got to throw in the Evil Dead references like crazy in this one. And basically, so Ed, while he's editing these films, basically starts to, like I said, go insane, and then he doesn't cut the violence and sex from the films. He just leaves the violence and the sex in the films, and he cuts off everything else. So all the films that he's editing is just literally like just killing, like, violence and sex, and he's watching these films, and it's starting to mess with his head, which, as a horror fan, I don't think that actually would happen, because I could watch horror and gore all day freaking long, and I've never gone insane. So I don't think I would have a problem, editing films and start to develop some kind of psychosis or anything like that. But knock on wood. So, but yeah, he does, and he starts to board up his house, and then Mr. Campbell, his boss, comes over, and he thinks he's a demon, and he turns into this devil with these really, like, practical horns that, like, they're huge, man. Like, and it looks like it's obviously him wearing a crown, and the way they designed that character in his, like, demonic form is really really cool. There's a scene where he discovers this, like, little monster in his fridge, Ed, and it's this little, like, gremlins looking monster thing, and it's just eating all the food, and, like, he's just having massive hallucinations. There's the part where his ex-wife Barbara and their daughter come over, and he's a whack job. He's trying to kill them. He's chasing after the daughter. He's saying, "Daddy's gonna cut. Daddy's gonna cut." It's a little messed up, but but it's done in a comedic effect, and it's not like, there is disturbing elements to it, but all the disturbing elements are done in a comedic manner. So it's not like, they're not taking themselves seriously with this film whatsoever. And oh my God, I've mentioned in a recent review that I did. I forget which. It's if I think about it, I'm sure I know. But it's a recent review I did where I'm a former DJ, so I DJ'd for a while. And there's a scene like around 6 minutes into the film where they drop this Eurodance track, and it's a Swedish film. It's a European film, so they drop just the Euro beat, like the Euro dance, do 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 do, and it comes out of nowhere. Cause he just comes off the elevator, and then they got this booming like, song. And I'm a huge Eurodance fan. I've spun Eurodance lots, and I love my Eurodance. So hearing that, and it kind of made me do one of these. Euro? Fuck yeah! It's like a 5 second scene, but it's like, oh my gosh, they actually throw a Euro song in there. Unreal, loved it. There are scenes where they're showing like clips of these loose limbs. It's loose limbs, yeah. Loose limbs films, and the acting in the loose limbs like fake films that he's editing is even worse than the actual film itself. Again, it's all dubbed, so the acting is super cheesy, but it goes with the point of the movie. The point of the movie is supposed to be cheesy. But when they show the loose lips clips, it's just like they'll show again another creepy guy with like greasy ass long hair, and he's like, "God," like talking all creepy to this chick, and there's a scene where he's like chopping off her leg, and he literally takes like a machete and chops her leg off, and her reaction is like, "My foot." Just, oh, my foot. It's ridiculous to the max, but it's so fun. And these guys are horror fans. That's what makes it awesome, is just the fact that you know that these guys are horror fans. There's a scene where Nick comes to Ed's house because I assume that he kind of like was getting a hint that like the boss was missing, and the last place he was known to be was Ed's house, so he went to look for Ed's house. But they come like strapped with weapons. One of them drops the groovy line from Evil Ed 2, obviously, and Nick goes in there, and then Ed it just starts beating the shit out of Nick. Freaking like there's plates like hanging up on the wall, and he's grabbing Nick's head, and he's just slamming his head into these plates like one at a time, and then he goes to like the rack where the plates are drying, and he just grabs one at a time and starts slamming it slamming the plates on Nick's head, and he just like beats the shit out of them. And then this is when Barbara and her daughter come, and he goes, "Daddy's gonna cut," and whatever. And then, of course, you have these people taking him to a mental ward, and the last like 20 minutes of the movie is him in this mental ward, again going insane. He has his hair like gelled up now, all like spiky and like crazy looking. And he's just messing everybody in the mental ward up. There's a scene where this guy who was in there for paranoia, he's like, oh, the doctors always told me that I was paranoid. Is there actually somebody after me? And Ed's like, no, no, he's right. You are paranoid, but that doesn't mean that I'm not here to get you. And then he like tases him or something. It's just ridiculous. And there's a lot of demonic scenes in that too, where like people start to, in the vein of Evil Dead, come back to life with like warped faces and practical effects, like crazy. And then you have Nick just blasting Ed's like arm right off, and then he's like the whole "rest in pieces, motherfucker." Just blows his head right off his fucking neck, and then it just ends right there. Like that's like the iconic shot. It's like the whole Scarface "say hello to my little friend," but in like a different manner. Oh my god. There's so much that I can say about this film. Like, I think I only got through half my notes. And I've already said so much. So like 15 minutes in almost. Yeah, it's just it pays tribute to so much. The character is so fun and creepy, and every character in this film is fun and creepy. Even the boss, like he has this ponytail. He's just a greasy looking slime bag. Like that's how they design every character in the film, every male character especially. And yeah, it's just there's little things that you see in the background that really they're subtle, and I like films like that. I like when films can throw in some subtlety to them. Like there's this scene at the beginning of the film where there's this old lady that's working. A woman looks like she's in her 80s, and she's carrying like these metal like film cases basically where the film is like wrapped around, and they're in like these metal like tin cases kind of thing. She's carrying them, but she's like standing there and she's like moving like half an inch every minute. Like she's just like you can't even consider this woman walking. Like she's just she's like like all like just oh my gosh. Uh, Not everybody's gonna like old people jokes, but I mean they it's that kind of movie. So, but yeah, she's just like she's standing in one place and she's like it's like she's gonna take like half an hour to get to the door, which is like 3 feet away. Yeah, it's funny. There's a Taxi Driver reference, like Robert De Niro's Taxi Driver. You talking to me? Are you talking to me? And I haven't seen Taxi Driver actually, but I've seen clips and I know that famous line where he's like, "No one else here. Are you talking to me?" So they dropped that too. I recognize that right away. There's a Cape Fear poster. Cape Fear I should review on this channel actually because that is a messed up film with Robert De Niro again, and I'm blanking on her name. She was very young. Oh, she's been in so many films. I'm blanking on her name. I'm gonna put it in the titles because I know who she is, but she's been in so many films and she's a great actress. She was like 18 in Cape Fear, but it's a messed up movie. It's a messed up movie. I might review it here on this channel that I was reminded of it after watching Evil Ed, but we'll see. Yeah, and then there's this brigade that comes into the mental war too to take down Evil Ed before Nick, the ex-employee of Evil Ed, takes him down first with the rest in pieces, motherfucker. But there's this brigade, and they sound so American. They sound like they're straight out of Full Metal Jacket, with the leader of the he's got the beret and everything, and he's got the like camo jacket, and they sound straight out of the United States. But clearly, this film is fully Swedish and has been taking place in Europe. You know, with nothing American in it whatsoever. But as soon as the brigade shows up, they're all like, "All right, units." Whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I hit it all. I love the character. I love how they make everybody like slimy as hell. I love the mentions to other films, like on the posters in the background is awesome, and I just love the way they really exploit splatter films like gory like the gore, man, the gore. How did I not mention the gore? The gore is amazing in this film. All practical, all freaking practical. It's so good, and it's such a treat to horror fans. And it's companies like Arrow that I fully respect to put out films like this and to put out just such gems like this that I'd never heard of before they released it. And it's great. I should mention that I watched the special edition. This also comes with the original cut, but the cut that I'm reviewing, it's only like 6 minutes longer. But that's the version I'm reviewing. That's the version I've watched. I can't really. I watched them both. I know I have, but I can't really differentiate like, oh, what scene was missing in the original cut, what scene was added in the special edition cut. But I am reviewing the special edition, and it comes in Blu-ray and DVD. And then the original cut comes on Blu-ray, not DVD. So Blu-ray for the original cut, Blu-ray and DVD for the special edition cut, which is the one that I watched, which is 6 minutes longer. It's 97 minutes or something like that. horror fans, I'm telling you, and Arrow video fans, like, go pick this up and watch this if you like your Evil Dead kind of stuff, if you like your blood splatter, if you like just cheesy ass gore just for like 90 some minutes, and it's oh, it's legendary, man. I love this kind of horror comedy. It is my shit. It is what I it's 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 shitty. Like, I was gonna say it's shitty cinema, but it's not. It's it should be shitty cinema, but it's just so freaking enjoyable. It's insane. Go watch Evil Dead if you haven't. This is a spoiler review, so again, there's spoiler right on the title. So, but yeah, no, it's awesome, and it's a treat for horror fans. So, if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, why are you watching the spoiler review? Go watch Evil Dead and then come back to the spoiler review so you can understand a little bit more fully what I'm talking about. All right. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews, and I'll be back with more soon. So stay tuned. Till next review. Have a good one. Take care and cheers.